Committee will be in order. We will now proceed under the 5-minute rule with questions. I will begin by recognizing myself for 5 minutes. On May 25th, in the twilight of Memorial Day, Derek Chauvin of the Minneapolis Police Department held his knee to George Floyd's motionless neck and pressed his face to the pavement for 8 minutes and 46 seconds as Mr. Floyd pleaded for relief, repeating the words, "I can't breathe." Mr. Floyd, I'm sure you've seen the video. Can you think of any reason why Officer Chauvin would need to hold his knee on your brother's neck for over 8 minutes?
No, sir. I don't really know why he did it, but personally, I think it was personal because they worked at the same place. So for him to do something like that, it had to be premeditated, and he wanted to do that.
And intentional.
Yes, sir.
Now, we've learned since then that Officer Chauvin faced at least 17 misconduct complaints during his career on the Minneapolis Police Force. He was named in a brutality lawsuit. He shot and critically wounded a man after a brief and nonviolent confrontation. Mr. Floyd, how did you feel when you learned about Officer Chauvin's history of misconduct?
He should have been off the force. Any officer committing an act like that shouldn't be able to get a job in any county after they get fired. The guy, they had enough evidence to sit there and fire them, but they didn't have enough evidence to arrest them. I'm not understanding that.
Ms. Gupta, does this make any sense? Should we keep police officers with long histories of misconduct complaints on patrol?
No, we shouldn't. It is why the Leadership Conference has pushed for the establishment of a national police misconduct registry. It's a national registry of all federal, state, and local law enforcement officials that would be created containing information on misconduct complaints, discipline, and termination records, and records of certification. I will tell you there's actually significant law enforcement support for this kind of registry, and prosecutors around the country have asked for this kind of registry, but chiefs in particular have said that this is a real problem when they don't have this kind of information when they're making hiring decisions.
And that's why we have the registry provision in the Policing and Justice Bill that we're considering.
That's correct.
Thank you. Now, Chief Acevedo, you manage a large urban police force. Are repeated misconduct complaints a red flag?
Yes, they are, Mr.
And what do you think we can do about that?
Well, we make it real clear to our officers that and our employees that none of them are cats, that you don't get 9 lives. And quite frankly, we use the tenets of progressive discipline. Sometimes labor will argue, why are you firing somebody if you believe in progressive discipline? And the answer is simple. If the crime or the policy violation supports termination, indefinite suspension, that's what we do, whether it's the first offense or the third offense. But a pattern of misconduct cannot be tolerated, should not be tolerated. And that's why it's important to also use the pattern of complaints, whether they're sustained or not sustained or unfounded, to look for any type of patterns of conduct to see if there's any commonality, to see if we need to take a deeper look at our employees.
And so you would think it a good idea to have a national registry so that one police department knew about the misconduct of an officer in a different police department before they hired him?
Well, you know, I can tell you on my individual capacity, Mr. Chairman, that I do support that concept. We've been, as an organization, very busy operationally in the last 2 weeks, and we're going to start having our deliberations on all these measures hopefully Friday, and we will come back with an official position. But I can tell you the individual chiefs that I know, that I've spoken with, absolutely support it. Having said that, even absent a national registry, it is incumbent upon hiring agencies to do thorough backgrounds. The internal affairs packages, complaint histories, everything's available at the previous employing histories, departments, pardon me. And so due diligence is important with or without a registry. But personally, I do support that concept.
Thank you. My time has expired, Mr. Gate.